Mate, you can't hear nothing clacking. Don't. Nah. Oh, why is my phone next to my audio input words? Oh, who puts their phone next to their audio devices? The monster. That's more Chewbacca, isn't it? I can't remember how he sounds. Is it like that? Is it more Predator-like, sort of like? Not even sure if you can hear that. Bam. Bam. Yeah, there's some music in the background, a moderate volume, I think. Hopefully, my audio shouldn't cut out. I've got a very, very low noise gate set. There is a storm going on outside, and my internet is notoriously bad during storms. So if I cut out or disappear or whatever, that's where I've gone. I've been taken away to the Wicked Witch of the West. That's some alliteration for you. The people that, you know, might have seen a movie at some point in their lives. Right, I'm in a weird mood today. I'm in a good mood. That's this camera, not this one. This one. I had a shitty weekend last weekend, but I don't know why I'm wearing a headset. I don't need it. Just making my ears hot. I don't want to be hot ears. I'm in a weird mood. Had a shitty weekend last weekend. Was planning to go and see a couple of my mates. I hadn't seen in a while. And there was storm warnings and there was train strikes. And it just all fucking imploded on itself. And I was really, really depressed. But now, today, again, yesterday started to feel a lot better. And today, feeling great. Oh, but I'm just in a sort of like a bit of a erratic, sort of sporadic mood. Like, I don't know, I've done a line of purely legal substances. Sort of weird. But yeah. So, today, we'll talk about whatever people want to talk about in chat. But, obviously, I've sort of wanted to talk also about 3.6.x, that patch, 3.7, CitizenCon, the anniversary sale, 3.8. There's a lot to fit in the next few months. isn't there? A huge amount. And is it all viable to do? There's got to be some culls and changes and stuff like that. So we'll talk a bit about that. Oh, Elfwin! That's a lot of bits! I love your bits, thank you. Have you put a pirate hat on me? Why? And I actually, it fucking suits me. Thank you very much for the hat. I forgot I had that on. And every time it appears, I'm confused how it works. Because I haven't set anything up for it. There's an enable button. That's it. That's all I've done. But the rest of my stream is all like stuff moving around and I don't know. But yeah, thanks for the hat, bro. yeah, it does. It does put something on my head. Greetings. You did hear keys clacking. You get the, if you're here for before the stream starts properly, you get the joy of me like, you know, getting changed in the background. You can hear me going, moving around, pressing stuff, farting, that sort of thing. I'm driving, so I can't really look. I bought some Widow last night and can't seem to find a place to offload it anywhere. Even tried the Metro on Selin. I assume you mean Selin, because you've just put an A at the end. Any tips? I can't remember all the locations to sell all the narcotics and stuff. There are trade apps which tell you. I'll actually put it on my cheat sheet. I'm not sure why it's not there. That seems like something that you'd clearly have and want to have on a cheat sheet. Typically, you sell stuff like that at Grimhex. Some of the rest stops have trade terminals for that. And then some of the illegal commodity terminals, whether they be on outposts or wherever, really. I say wherever. There's a few of them around the verse that will take those commodities. So like Levski, Grimhex, that's what I typically expect or assume. But it'll be other outposts and stuff like that. I'll list some. Do a Vandal impression. What's in my pockets, precious? That's Andy Serkis, right? He does Vandal, right? More throaty. What? You want me to do a pirate impression? Why is everyone fucking? Yeah, I was watching some pirate streams of people playing pirate games, and they really commit to the pirate voice throughout, be that in Star Citizen or be that in other games. What is the difference between a duck? What? Between a duck and what? What? I was at Grimhex earlier, Quantum to Dilimar. Oh my god, I love you, Midnight. When I said obstructed. Didn't look obstructed, so I kept going forward at full speed and found myself slamming into an asteroid a few seconds later. Yes, turn on your lights on your ship. Press T. At least mine's set up for T. Might be 5 on the keyboard as well. All of the key bindings confused in my head because I've got all of them from the genesis of the game in my head, and they all sort of like poorly stacked on each other now. In Paul Olisar journal entry, it says there will be daily complimentary shuttles to Orison. Any news on that's actually going to happen? I would expect something public transporty and services for that when those sort of like things are in game. So once we have Orison and they start to add public transport, being able to move you around the standard system, yes, things like that will happen. If you go to Lawville and the Tisa Spaceport there, for example, you can see that there's literally a section of that starport there for Genesis Starliners and like commercial flights like that. So there is going to be things like that. That's the plan. You play Sea of Thieves. I have previously. I played it when it was sort of like in beta or for free or for briefly for a weekend or something, and really enjoyed it, but there wasn't much to it. Like I did a bit of everything, and then I was like, is there anything more to this game? And there wasn't. I know that there's a lot more that's been added now, so I probably will check out Sea of Thieves again. I could not get the ballista to fire. What am I missing? Could target, that's it. So yeah, when you're in the missile chair, you've got to make sure your missiles are on. Got to make sure they're selected and everything. And then you get in the missile chair, and then you lock onto the ship. Make sure you're not in a zone that's an armistice zone, and then you can fire. I think that's all the steps. You don't have to... There's not a button to put the feet down in the blister, is there? Just fires after that. It has been bugged before, so I've had to respawn it a few times, because, yeah, sometimes it just doesn't want to fire. You've got to make sure that the turret's on and everything like that by holding F when you're in the seat, and all the things are on properly. You can't do it from the pilot seat. You've got to do it from the rocket turret seat, as Silverwolf says. Yeah, so what I wanted to talk briefly about is we've got a lot going on with Star Citizen over the next few weeks. Okay, so we just had 3.6.1 go live. It's a quality of life patch. It's a bug fix patch. Lots and lots of bugs fixed. Lots and lots of quality of life stuff there. Still problems with 3.6's branch, but it's pretty fucking stable. And it's good performance, and a huge portion of the bugs are fixed. People that are still having problems with hover mode, I press right alt. Someone said to me in one of my messages a few weeks ago, just press right alt, and it stops you pitching when you're in hover mode. And I was like, of course it does. You do it in flight. So you press right alt, and then you just strafe. You can just use the strafe controls. You can still move your gimbals, but you only strafe, and you can toggle that on and off with right alt. And I was like, this is fantastic. Now I can land without murderizing myself. So that's pretty sweet. But yeah, so we've got a 3.6.x patch, so 3.6.2 or 3.6.5 or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure CIG will have a creative name for it with a number at the end. With the 890 jump in, which is the massive luxury ship, which we've seen a lot about recently, and ship rentals, and potentially some shield additions, some shield tech stuff, and potentially some other bug fixes and quality of life updates as well. So that's going to come out between now and the end of September, because by the end of September, which is, what, how many weeks away? 7 weeks away? They want to get 3.7 out live. Okay, that the sort of light, soft deadline for 3.7 to go live is the end of September. Now, obviously, with 3.6 didn't go live at the end of when it was supposed to, at the end of June, but it was still, it missed its deadline, and then obviously it was released when it was ready. And we're going to see that with all patches of Star Citizen. They're released when they're ready, but they keep on saying that they're going for these sort of like date-driven releases, and they will try to push and cull features and push them into the next patch if they're not ready. So maybe we'll see a very heavily culled 3.7. Does that sound reasonable? Or would people prefer them to try and get as many features as they can, even if it takes another couple of weeks extra? Or do people prefer interim patches? So you get 3.6, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, or 3.7.1 with a lot more stuff in it than just the 3.7 patch? Or do you think they should take a breath and just release a shorter patch, bam, and get it out? Because then we're going to have CitizenCon, and CitizenCon's November 23rd, which is pretty fucking close to the end of year for them. So mid-December, they want to get 3.8 out, because at mid-December is when they all stop for the year. Now, that's a lot of stuff to get in. 3.7, well, 3.6.x, 3.7, 3.8, CitizenCon. CitizenCon might have an interim patch in it as well. Like, so CitizenCon is likely to have an in-game event. So we think it's going to be on Area 18 in ArcCorp. BAM is probably going to be another event like they had last year. So they'll need to put a mini patch in for that. And that would also potentially have straight to flyable ships and vehicles. Maybe some other updates as well. So even if it's a minor patch or an interim patch, bam, it's still a new patch. So there's a huge amount to get in, and it's just insane. So they do need to jig and sort of like reschedule the roadmap. We're expecting to see the second quarter 2020 patch go on there for the Persistent Universe at some point. Some people have suggested that the patch after 3.9, the second quarter 2020 patch, should be called 3.10, whereas I'm assuming it's going to be 4.0. They don't need to do anything special. It's a numbering system. Okay, I know a lot of people are like, 4.0 is when the game's going to be beta, so they'll save it for that. No, what? No, this numbering system, but it's largely irrelevant. That's sort of like, I just bibble. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just sort of interested to know what people think about that, because, you know, that's a lot. That's a lot to get in, right? Got interdicted by pirates, killed them, and then got a stage 2 crime stat. Thought they fixed that. They're supposed to be fixed in 3.6.1, unless you attacked a security person or someone that wasn't a criminal. But pirates that interdict you, that attack you, you should be able to freely engage them now. If that's not the case with that, then either you attacked a security force or it's still bugged. I heard somewhere that there's the Pirate Edition Caterpillar have interdiction capability. No, let's say, okay, interdiction, we're not entirely sure how it's going to work from a player point of view and how it's going to work in the future of the game. At the moment, security forces, a ship in security forces or pirate forces interdicts you, and you can see which one it is because they sort of pulse. Boom, 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 boom. In the future, it will be an item or a ship that does that. So it might be like a module that maybe could be on a Caterpillar, but you'd have to fit it yourself, or maybe there'll be a specific ship that does quantum interdiction, or maybe it will be an item, or like a missile or torpedo that you sort of like launch and it leaves like a little beacon there that quantum interdicts. Not 100% sure what they're going to go with, but there will be ways of interdicting, and there will be some gameplay with that. I need to fix my lighting. I could tell there's a storm outside, so I've got all the windows closed and stuff like that. It'll be fine. Look, I just got a hole in my chest. You don't need to see my face better. I'll make sure it looks prettier soon. Don't you worry. Underwater bases, not something they've really talked about. We know we're going to have swimming. They did want to have, there's going to be wave simulation. I suspect there's going to be some stuff in the water. I mean, people's ships are going to crash in the water all the time and people are going to want to salvage them. So maybe there's going to be a moderate level of underwater exploration and stuff, but it's not going to be Subnautica levels or anything. Gamescom is the end of this month, as well as the Aegis event. Yes, on the 24th of August is the Aegis event. Do you think they will release the 890 jump before then? I think they're going to want to try and get that interim patch, the 3.6.x patch, out by the end of this month and as soon as possible. So I don't know. I would expect that's what they want to do. Yes. Whether or not they can. I also expect the Aegis ship, I would expect it to be a concept being unveiled rather than a straight to flyable ship. The Aegis Concierge event that's in Frankfurt, I believe, on the 24th of August. Some people bought tickets too. I tried to get a ticket, but it was they went instantly. So there are still some CitizenCon tickets available. I think there's probably 160 left. Expect them to be sold out by like end of Sunday. Do you think we should have to leave an asteroid belt before quantum traveling, or keep it as it is? I think the idea of asteroids properly obstructing quantum would be cool. Yeah, I think that there needs to be some areas, there needs to be environmental hazards, there needs to be asteroids and things that get in the way of quantum travel, so that you can't just quantum travel everywhere so super easily, but you don't want to constantly be traveling, trying to get out of stuff to quantum travel. So when you're safe and when you're sort of like in certain locations, yes, you have to quickly quantum travel, bam, straight somewhere. Others, yeah, when you're like locked into like a nebula or an asteroid field, move a little bit out of it, then quantum travel. It doesn't have to be like miles and miles and miles out of it or anything, but maybe not directly in the middle of it. Dang, you pale. Look, all I do is make Star Citizen videos and stream all day, okay? I'm gonna be pale, eh? Right, okay, no, that's fucking, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna fix this, we're gonna give me a fucking tan. A filthy mouth today. Now I've clicked on game. That was your fault. Cat.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Yeah? That make you happier? I don't know if that's helped at all, to be honest. More colourful. There's very little light on me. Well, on top of my head, there's quite a lot. I don't know. Huh. Damn. It happened. Thank you very much, Bob Core, Whoop to Scoop. Thank you very much for the donation. Robert Johnston, past my bedtime, 5 a.m. here. I'll have to watch you tomorrow. Have a good night and keep the noise down and feck off. I love you, Robert Johnson, one of the only people that tells me to fuck off with donations. So thank you very much appreciated. And Zaraman, thank you very much for the sub. I don't know how people's names work. Okay, no, everyone just have one name or just a number system. Bam, perfect. Wouldn't it be financially stupid to sell 2 capital ships back to back?
I am gonna buy
potentially
spaceships.
Morning board. Loved the pirate hat. Glad you were in a good mood. Laughed
very much, Dalamars. I am in a good mood, and thank you very much for your donation. Yeah, donations put me in an even better mood. Apparently, thank you, genuinely, thank you very much. I'm not sure why people donate to me, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. It's just my initials, Zaramnun. There's a lot of letters to your name, a lot of words to your name. You monster. No, I don't know. What else have we got here? But thank you very much appreciated. With Star Citizen's economy, how much of it will be player fueled versus what CIG will set? So there's going to be like 9 to 10 NPCs simulated for every one player. There's going to be a whole sort of like planets simulated and their populations and that sort of stuff. And it's not going to be a player-led economy. There's going to be player influence, and those players represent the top like 1% of the population of the universe, typically being super rich because they're able to afford spaceships and things like that. And they're heroes is the way I see it. So CIG are going to be able to influence the economy as they want and have the final say on it and change it however they want and change the simulation, change physical numbers, find ways of sort of like stopping superinflation, things like that. So don't know exactly how that's going to work yet, but it's heavily going to be simulated and there's a lot of stuff going on with the economy that is NPCs and not just player-led. Who will become a fisherman? Well, there's got to be a fishing in the game to be an official MMO, isn't it? Official. Fish. Who's going to be playing WoW Classic, out of curiosity? I'm playing WoW Classic this month. I'm going to start playing WoW Classic again. Wouldn't it be stupid to sell 2 capital ships back to back? That's why I was answering earlier. I don't know. Do you think they'll be selling 2 capital ships back to back? Aegis event. Speculate with me, board. What's the ship at the Aegis event? I suspect it's going to be an Aegis capital ship of some description. It was meant to sort of compete in some regard the Kraken, maybe. So it could be a carrier, but it could also just be a general capital ship that's able to, you know, a bit more combat-y. I was hoping for like a drone carrier, a drone corvette, sort of combat ship. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff it could be. A light carrier ship would also be cool. Claim beacons, when it comes to land claim, you, I believe, keep any liquids that are on your land claim. Hello to Spain, Sidman. With Star Citizen's economy, how much else? We already talked about that. How is mission sharing? So they've done tests with it. They've messed around with it. They've been porting some missions over to it, and apparently it's something that they need to build missions for it in mind, or port missions over to it at the moment. We could get it in 3.7. It's not clear when it's coming. They know it's super important though. They've talked about server-side object container streaming as well. They were messing around with that at the same time as doing mission sharing stuff, and they said it's like night and day. So performance-wise, it looks like server-side object container streaming is actually a lot better than they thought. Oh, I know. I love PlanetSide as well. PlanetSide and PlanetSide 2. Oh, great games. PlanetSide especially, the original. Play that a lot. Maybe the Redeemer flight ready. So, I mean, we don't know. So we know that the Redeemer's changed somewhat. They're reconcepting it. It might go straight to flyable, I suppose. But last time they talked about it, they said they're not even sure if it's going to be the same manufacturer anymore. It's not even going to be an Aegis ship anymore, maybe. Might be, but might not be. It's going to be a very focused gunship, though, with the focus being on guns. How do you think CIG should handle training players on new mechanics? Oh, fucking great question, Mike. I am specifically thinking about hover mode and needing to hit X, then hitting right shift. Oh, I see what you mean. So I was thinking more sort of like, how are they going to have players understand new mechanics, like how there needs to be entry training missions for mining, for bounty hunting, for science, for every single gameplay loop, and which there does. There has to be those entry-level missions. There has to be descriptions and ways of working that out in-game without constantly having to look up other people's YouTube videos. So when they've got those mechanics in, bam, yes. Also, yeah, some ways of teaching players how to fly, how to land, and that sort of thing. Maybe some more sort of like dressage type show things that players can do to learn how to more precise land. Like, oh, do this, and you get rewarded, or super monkey ball sort of type. You've got to land your ship as quickly as you can on this target against other people. I mean, that's not a bad idea, is it? They are. CIG can have that one. Could we see the ability to shoot our FPS weapons while piloting a hoverbike? Yes. So, the rear of the hoverbike, they've been working on tech so that you can fire your weapon while in a co-pilot or passenger chair of some vehicles. That's going to be a thing. And they talked about potentially being able to fire your weapon from your hand, pew 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 pew, while also on a hoverbike. But that is not confirmed a thing that they're going to do. So Lumberyard has limitations in the fact that it's still being developed as an engine, and that's the same as the StarEngine. It's using Lumberyard to continue its development. There are barriers to what they can do with it, but they then build the tech to allow it to do whatever they need. Anything interesting? So we had the monthly reports. Cool little bits and bobs on. They've been working a lot on Orison and microtech, lots of microtech stuff, and new Babbage, bartender concepts and things like that. So a few cool things, nothing really sort of like spectacular. They talk a little bit about object container streaming for the server-side stuff, and working on that, which is pretty exciting to me. I haven't finished reading the report, but I will get a summary of that up probably tomorrow, if not Sunday. I'll get the news summary of everything from the week. So I'll have to do that tomorrow. Summarize the news. AI stuff. Oh, we got the Vanguard Harbinger missile room last week. Pretty cool. In this week's Inside Star Citizen, we saw the 890 jump lower decks this time. So we saw the hangar bay, which opens up and 4 raises. Fantastic. The hangar bay can carry some cargo. There's also a proper cargo bay as well. Proper cargo bay as well. Load of cargo and a cargo lift which can carry the ballista, which is pretty slick. I have just put up a video highlighting all of the stuff that we know about the 890 jump at the moment. I thought that was pretty cool. It's working. Got all its components and stuff in the back. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about the 890 jump. A lot of the stuff they talk about, it sounds like it's going to be a proper luxury service ship. So it's all about its interior and keeping the people on board happy, having like a spa and swimming pool and restaurants and things like that. So hopefully gameplay associated with NPCs and reasons for players to want to have that ship beyond it being pretty cool and expensive. Jaylee talked about steps they were doing, like the bartender, serving staff. Illy, you're a beautiful man. Space chefs, bounty hunters. Bounty. Oh, no, that's Frosty. That's Frosty gear. Where's the bounty hunters? Bounty hunters. Frosty clothing from Microtech. A melting pot of religions and sort of like cultures. As they Persian and different cultures from Earth in space in the future, rather than just Western culture. Bar stuff. Oh, this is cool. So let me actually show this. So, working on more harvestables. So obviously harvestables are going to be like a mixture of missions and for science, and they're going to be able to eat things. System for hunger and thirst. It's coming in with the player status system. Give plants. Might be useful for many things. Loot as well. Plant loot. Woo! Is that poo? It's done. It is done. Nice. Oh, my sound volume's fluctuating. Why does it do this? I'm sorry. Not sure why it does that. I'm gonna have to bring the microphone close. It's because I put it out. Oh. I apologise for the fluctuating volume. I'm not sure why it does it so much. Yeah, I think it's going to be a carrier of some sort. The Aegis ship. I think it's going to be an Aegis capital ship of some sort. I think it's probably going to be a carrier. When larger ships such as the Kraken Idris become available, how do you think Star Citizen will handle them docking and landing? So there's going to be ship-to-station docking, so you're literally able to dock to the side of a station on some stations. Some landing pads on some planets will be able to take the larger ships landing, some won't. And like the giant capital ships, I mean, some of them might not be able to land at planets at all and have to just go to very specific shipyards to be able to dry dock, as it were. There are going to be this sort of like Titan suits as mechs. They're more like Iron Man. In the future, though, we might see more mech type things. We might see more power loadery type things, although they're pretty. The Titan suits are pretty power loader / Iron Man. Do you think there will be different types of Titan suit? There's definitely going to be different loadouts for Titan suits, different weapons for them. They're supposed to originally be built for utility purposes, I believe. So yeah, I would expect them to be able to cargo carry and things like that. Potentially there will be different hulls of Titan suit, but it could just be one chassis and lots of different loadouts for them. Just started playing Star Citizen. Do you know when cargo will work with Mustangs? So you should be able to buy and sell cargo commodities. So if you go to the commodities thing, it's like you've got the 4SC or whatever it is, you can buy and sell. But the box doesn't open up so you can put a cargo container in yet. So I'm not sure when that's coming. Don't know you're aware of board, but there are people watching you. This pointless comment is free of charge. Thank you, Squishy Derpy. Appreciated. I do like mechs. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Mech Warrior and Battletech. Why is there a plant that produces dog poo? I think it was Rantadung, it was called. Rantadung. I suspect that ranters are an animal that we might see maybe at CitizenCon. Like a rat mole. That's what it sounds like, doesn't it, a ranter? Ratata! What I'm looking at. Ran to done. Picking up all sorts of berries. It's probably anytime I don't look directly at the microphone. It's probably when my voice is... why, microphone? I hate you. I blame everyone else but me. It's everyone else's fault except for me. A mech dropship would be cool. Yeah, so they'd have to have a way of moving these mechs around. The Titan suits around. So I think that the idea was that in the rear of the Retaliator, if you bought the dropship upgrade for it, I think that there's a station for a Titan suit. There's the idea, though citation needed, and there might have been changes to that. I suspect some ships will be more suited to dropping them than others. I'm not sure if I should further monetize any form of my streams, so that the people asking questions and are the content for it, so I don't want to, you know, just be waiting, staring at the camera for a question because I get $1 for each one or something. It's been suggested in places that there might not be any ships revealed at all during the Aegis event. No, you're wrong. You're wrong, Dalmars. It's there's going to be a new concept, so I'm pretty sure that was stated by them, or something's going to be unveiled. A new Aegis project, a new ship. Shut up. Do you think that's possible? No, I don't think it's possible. I think it's almost certainly going to be a Aegis ship or vehicle released. Will there be NPC ships in atmospheres soon? Sometimes in the PTUs and potentially Valkyrie phases or whatever, they do add the NPCs landing on planets and doing stuff and then flying away again in other parts and airports. They take them out because they cause problems sometimes. But yes, you will at some point see traffic on planets, NPCs going about their daily routines and ships and stuff like that. So the RSI Mantis is the heavy fighter that we're expecting to see at CitizenCon straight to flyable. Do we think it's a long range fighter? Well, it's a heavy fighter. Implies it's probably long range, or longer range than a medium or light fighter typically. Although it might not. It's from RSI. I expect it might have a... Yeah, I expect it's probably got quite a long range. So, now Aegis capital ship for the Aegis Concierge event. So is CIG actually going down the route to modularize every aspect of every ship, forcing reworks and reworks of existing ships? I'm not sure what we mean by that. They are having physicalized components. Most of the ships have cupboards for physicalized components already. Some of the ships will have to have light updates, I suppose, to have modules in them, but they're not modularizing every aspect of every ship, no. The Vanguards, for example, were reunified so that the central module can be removed and changed. I suspect that if for example, the Avengers needed that, they could do that very, very quickly within like a week. But no, not every ship is going to have every part of it remodularized. Not every ship has modules to change. It is clear what kind of ammo the new announced tank will use? Question mark? What? The ballista that's currently in the game uses missiles. And could we see different kinds of tanks in the future? Ballistic tank, energy tank, gauss tank. Yeah, you could definitely see different weapon variants. Weapons that you can move out on some of these tanks and stuff. I would expect to see a light tank and other ground vehicles. And yeah, ones using ballistic weapons, energy weapons, gauss weapons, whatever. Railguns. What do you think is the best starter ship for new players board? Mustang Alpha. If you're going the cheapest possible, you'll have great fun and you'll be able to grind up to get a best ship with that. If people want to spend a little bit more, then consider an Avenger Titan. I appreciate you too, you handsome looking man. Squishy Derpy. I love your face. Thanks very much. I like your style. Vanguard Weapons poor? Question mark. Yes. At the moment, the Vanguard for me needs to have its weapons options, and you will be able to change the nose weapons for some other specialist nose weapons and its loadouts and stuff like that. So I'm waiting on that at the moment before I sort of like judge the Vanguard great or trash. What would you buy if you had 2,000 to 3,000 euros to waste? I actually get quite bad guilt when I spend money on stuff that I don't need, even if I have the money spare. Just sort of bear that in mind. Pardon me, sorry. I just coughed directly into the microphone. Now everyone's ill. If I had to spend money on ships, I don't know. I don't have an Idris, so I'd grab an Idris.
The sounds were being hosted, so I decided to use this.
Thanks. Thanks very much for the host. Even if it's just you. It's appreciated. Aurora rework, question mark? I would expect the Auroras to at least get a light rework to bring them up to standard. Nothing super major though. And if they were going to rework the Auroras, I suspect they would keep it quiet as well. Like, and just go, the Aurora rework's done, we didn't tell you about it because we know people would complain, but look how good they are. You think they'll add the ability to replace modules? Yes. So that's the idea. So next year is when I suspect we'll see this sort of like modular gameplay start to come in. We're going to be able to change the modules on certain ships. We'll be able to change the central module around on the Vanguards, for example, potentially the Avengers, things like the Caterpillar, change its modules out, the cargo module for something else interesting in each of its 4 sections, the Retaliator. There's lots of ships that have modules, lots of ships don't. No, I appreciate all the love from people. I know my channel is entirely community based and mostly community funded. I do get sort of like I get paid by YouTube ads being run on my videos, and the sort of like referral links that I choose, like Shadow, great for referrals. I get a bit of cash from that. NordVPN, absolutely great. Services that I use, that I like, that I use for gaming or Star Citizen or whatever. Game Glass is a new one I've started to promote. Game Glass guys making a great product for Star Citizen, and while those services remain suitable and useful for Star Citizen, I'll continue to plug them and give them some love, but they help support the channel. As do donations, as does subscribing, dinging the bell, liking things, sharing things, giving feedback, talking to me and saying, I like this, I don't like this, whatever. Becoming a YouTube member, Patreoning, all that sort of jazz. So genuinely, thank you very much for all the support and love I get, which is, I would say, overwhelming. It's not, it's particularly accurately whelming. I'll bathe in as much love as people get. Maybe I need to rephrase some things. You can upgrade your ships in the upgrade section if you want to do it for real monies on the Star Citizen website. So if you, let me show you.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
We go to Pledge Store. I go to Ship Upgrades. You can upgrade any of your ships. You can upgrade your Aurora to any other ship that's currently available. More ships are available when they go on concept sale or when they have other sales. So some ships are limited to being sold at certain times, basically. So we know that most, if not all, the ships will be sold around the 23rd of November this year, because that's when they have the anniversary sale and CitizenCon. With all these tanks and mech suits, do you think Star Citizen is going to be a little bit too planetside? No. Planetside a much more arcadey sort of grinding experience, typically. I think that there is going to be elements of planetside there, and elements of Battlefield, elements of Eve, elements of loads of different games. I mean, it influenced massively by lots of games. Hopefully, what Chris Roberts and CIG are doing is bringing all these elements from lots of different games together and doing them all reasonably well. Hello. I want a board game mission, give a cameo in the game. Oh, maybe one day. Let's see if CIG want me to do that. CIG, I'm available. To get like a small, just, I don't know, 0.5% royalties from your game sales. I'll do that. Bam, done. You have an estimate when we'll get the Vulcan. We need drone gameplay, really. Actually, maybe we don't need drone gameplay before the Vulcan, although it doesn't make any sense to have it without it. I don't know when we're going to have it in the game. Probably towards the end of next year. Unless it's needed for Squadron 42. Is the Kraken on schedule? Well, the Kraken is not on a schedule yet. So yes? No? It's not on schedule because it's not on a schedule yet. I noticed they're working on the Javelin Squadron 42 roadmap. Do you think we'll get a sneak preview soon? I think we'll see it at CitizenCon. I should have been more specific. When do you think they'll add the ability to replace components that get damaged, storing spare parts on ships? So you're talking more about subcomponents and hand repairs and stuff like that. They've been working on it for a while. We could potentially see it in this year. Do you think CIG will implement a sort of wake from larger ships that go into quantum travel, like an area, if you're too close, you could end up getting slapped or thrown out by the wake? Oh, no, I like the idea. It is in space. I mean, they're going to have big wakes in planets and moons. I don't know. I'd need to sort of see it and experiment with it to see if it was a good idea and felt cool. Bathe, is there a bathe with board competition? How much are tickets? Wow. I will start selling my BoredGamer bath order next month. Early 189, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. And Steeha, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Very much appreciated. Legendary. I talk about it very briefly and people sign up. Maybe I should do it more. Thank you. Genuinely thank you. There's exclusive content for those people that are VIPs that Patreon or YouTube member, so thank you very much. Probably, I think you can instantly see some of those videos from my community feed. You're saying the Polaris will be available in November for non-concierge buyers? I believe so. Citation, well, that's not confirmed, but it's reasonably confirmed. It's I would expect that to 99% accuracy, the Polaris being on sale then, yes. What do you think you would do on YouTube when Star Citizen is finally out and there aren't many updates besides comments on strange and funny review? Okay. So it would be a mixture of guides and gameplay and playing Star Citizen and doing stuff in the game in some way, running orgs, doing social things, maybe a bit of intrigue and covering the news there. I actually think there will be more to do and more to cover when Star Citizen's out, and there's still going to be patches and updates and changes to the economy and all that sort of stuff. When are we getting Star Citizen Live at all today? So Star Citizen Live's in about an hour and 15 minutes, I believe, on twitch.tv Star Citizen. I believe it's Jay Lee talking about concepts, potentially making a concept of something live. I love Jay Lee. He's probably my favourite CIG employee. Maybe Cameron, because he's one of my best friends. Maybe. No. Oh, maybe Cameron. With the Mantis, do you think it'll be like the Vanguard and Defender? With its internal space, making it a long-range escort fighter? Oh, quite possibly. It's supposed to have internal space. That does make it seem to me that it's probably much more longer range, and it'll be an escort fighter. Yeah, I'd expect that, actually, thinking about it. Is the Caracon schedule? As far as I'm aware, yeah, there's they've been working on it for a while. They show bits off of it occasionally. We saw the captain's quarters more recently of it. I would expect it in 3.8. It's going to be such a big shame if it's not. I would also expect to see it at CitizenCon. How far do you think they are along with server-side object container streaming and all other server stuff? Do you think we'll see any of it this year? I think we could see server-side object container streaming in for the end of the year. I think we could see demos of it before then. They have been talking about it being tested internally. There's a difference between it being tested and it being working and implemented and integrated in-game for the persistent universe, though. But I still think it's very possible that we could have it for the 3.8 release. Can I be cheeky and ask if you get a chance to ask Chris Roberts that weight question? Yeah, I'll add it to a list, Jago. If people have got questions they want me to ask CIG staff members and people of key people when I'm at CitizenCon or Studio Tours, then please, you've just reminded me I need to poke CIG about Studio Tours. Please send me questions. Hoping physicalized components brings ship module repair and micro component plus server blades at the same time. I doubt it will bring that all at the same time. Physicalized ship components are going to be done with the Terrapin first, as far as I'm aware, unless they change that to the Gladius for some reason. It's supposed to be done with the Terrapin first. And potentially we could see sub-components at the same time. But the server blade stuff, I think, is a little bit further out. Did you do away with the unified chat overlay? It broke. I need to fix it. I'm not great at streaming or planning my life. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm very efficient. Other times a little bit less efficient. Currently, less efficient. Why the hype for the 890 jump? When watching the video today, I was like, "Where's the jacuzzi gameplay? It's a glorified flying chat room." There's a jacuzzi, but just because they didn't see a load of people sitting in it. If it's true and they can't add any major new locations without server-side object container streaming, as said by Sean Tracy, server-side object container streaming needs to be out this year, or they can't move stuff on the roadmap, or they have to move stuff on the roadmap. Okay. Yeah, but Osri, so they could also potentially find other fixes to that. They could be different server optimizations. They could have partial implementation. But yes, they want to get new Babbage in this year. And Microtech, so I would suspect that insinuates that they're planning to have server-side object container streaming in this year as well. So ask Chris Roberts if they're going to be cyborgs. There's going to be augmentations to humanity. There's going to be lots of cool medical tech. So cyborg to an extent, yes. I mean, if I replace my arm even now with a more like motorized-ish replacement, that's still me as a cyborg, kind of, isn't it? But there will be cyborgs in game. There's not going to be like robotic AI or like worker drones running around, as far as I'm aware. The idea with AI in game, when it comes to AI in game, not just, you know, NPCs, is that AI doesn't work. AI is sort of like, they've tried it, it always breaks, it always isn't feasible. Jacuzzi gameplay, make parts of character models more usable. Babbage by Christmas, lads. That's what we're waiting for. Babbage by Christmas. Yeah, I'm very excited for the 890 jump. But that's because it's a big ship that I own. And it's a massive ship. And it's a bit of a party boat. And it'll be good for, like, you know, views. I love you, Dalamars. You take care, bro. I wanted to talk about. There's much I wanted to talk about today. Might do a Star Citizen 3.6 live gameplay stream on the weekend. And maybe a bit of gameplay on Monday as well. I wonder if they... So they've obviously got a lot of food stuff in the game. And they talked about kitchen staff in the Inside Star Citizen. And there's a proper big kitchen galley. And there's a restaurant. So maybe food prep, to some extent, might be a thing that players can do in-game. Question, isn't the 890 just a crappy Polaris? How dare you? It's a luxury ship. So it's the idea for the 890 is it's more internal luxury. So it caters for having a ship that's excessive in its sort of like luxuriousness, but it might not be great at fighting in the same way that the Polaris is. That is true. Hopefully there's going to be gameplay tied to VIPs and luxury mechanics and transporting people, as well as like having that ship as a command ship and a cool place to do social activity. Because Star Citizen isn't just about, you know, hard gameplay loops and making money or whatever. It's also about that social element. My shirt is censored, yeah. Me, Chris Roberts. No, just a picture of that. Just a picture. See? See? Yeah. Any chance we get a drunk live stream some weekend? Yeah, well, not a drunk one. There'll certainly be me at events and drinking. Hopefully not drunk, which is... oh, dear. I'll try and get my GoPro and stuff and do some live streams at CitizenCon. I'm going away in a couple of weeks to a private LAN, so might get some reasonably drunk stuff done there. And streams. I'll have a computer with me, but also have my GoPro, I suppose. It might be more board games than LAN games, but anyone else going to BoredCon? So we'll do some meetups and stuff at CitizenCon, and I'll just attach myself to other like events that I go to and go, does anyone want to meet up? We're not going to have a BoredCon unless for some reason my channel gets massive. When Zin's working for me, maybe we'll get a lot bigger. Do you still do org spotlights? Yes! I've just been lazy with it recently. Bionukes, send me a poke about your org. There's a couple of others I've got on my list to do in the near future. But then, like I'm doing AGs soon. Because AG sent me so much money, I was like, fucking, I'll look at your org, mate. Don't you worry. But there's a couple of others on there as well. And you don't need to give me anything or buy your way into the org spotlight. That was more of a special thing that I said. For him, so there is no barrier to entry with that. So if you want your org to be considered for that, just send me a message on Discord with a blurb about your org, pretend you're recruiting me, and all the links to your org, and I'll check it out. And when there's appropriate gameplay or like, oh shit, I need to get an org for next week, I'll look through that list and choose one. I'll be on reasonably good behaviour when I'm at events. However, I'm a bit of a monster. I'm bipolar. So, I mean, I like to party, and I don't know my limits when it's at the more erratic extremes of that. So, hopefully I don't do anything stupid. You have a bored wife? No. I'm single. And quite happily single. Let me make that clear. I do have one of my exes I'm very much still in love with from years ago. Don't really like anyone else though. Like, haven't really found anyone else after that. I've loved and lost. But also I quite like being single. Like, I'm quite an erratic person. I sort of like love my alone time, then love my social time. Sometimes I need to get away from it all. I like playing computer games. That's my needs. I like eating nice food, computer games, and sometimes needing to be alone, and sometimes needing to socialise and party. But I'm not sure that meshes well with a partner. Although, finding the right person, I'm not going to say never. Fix the top left. I don't think it's the green screen. My microphone. When will 4.0 be on the roadmap? So the Q2 2020 Star Citizen Persistent Universe update should be on there relatively soon. It's supposed to be on there when 3.6 went live. We could see it this week. It might be a little while out. It depends. I don't know. We've been waiting for it for a while. So I'm hoping for it this week, but typically they say there's going to be a big roadmap update. So by the end of the month. Have you ever considered your streaming goal to trip down under. I know a few people that would be happy to throw some money your way. Oh, I hate traveling and everything in that country wants to kill me. I'm terrified of spiders. Every part, one of your animals is a spider or connected to a spider in some way. Does drinking enhance your bipolarness? No, so sort of bipolar is sort of like people are either seen as super depressed or super party animals, or sort of like fluctuate between the two, which is what I do. I know I've got to travel around the world at some point. Like I need to go to America for, you know, CIG things and meetups and stuff, and Europe and other places in the UK and Australia and stuff. And I will go to some of these places at some point. I just... I don't want to live a jet set lifestyle. I want to be comfortable in my house playing computer games. That's my and occasionally going outside to do barbecues and drink. Two-meter high jumping spiders, why the straight? I'm done. We're not going there. Why would anyone want to live there? Oof. I am expecting we see a Squadron 42 release date at CitizenCon, and the start of sort of like a marketing campaign for it. There's a lot of stuff that they probably did at CitizenCon this year, like, well, obviously, but like I think it's going to be a big concerted push for Squadron 42. Some cool new near future gameplay. It's in a good state, Star Citizen, for them to start pushing it as a game. Am I currently in UTC or UTC +1? So is it now or in an hour that Star Citizen live game dev? You're drunk and that's why you're giving me money. That's what I appreciate. Mr. Jaeger, for your troubles and loving your work, thank you very much for the money. I appreciate your donation and rub it in my face. My shiny bald head. Look how fucking shiny my head is. Benny Rizzo, thank you very much for subscribing on Prime. Steeha, thank you for the knock. Like your work, Egghead, thank you. Appreciate it. My Egghead is especially for you. And Steeha becoming a member as well. I love you. Oh, you legendary. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. So at the moment, I got a 2080 Ti recently, and I can sort of run Star Citizen at appropriate frame rates to record in sometimes 60 frames, 4K, but very, very successfully 1440p, 4K, high bit rate, very good looking B-roll and footage. So I've started getting some B-roll for that, and I will get a lot more over the weekend for 3.6.1 and next week. And if people are around during the day next week as well, I do occasionally pop on the Discord, and whoever's around can join me if they wish to in recording some B-roll and messing around in Star Citizen. It's very much appreciated. Had some people join me this week. I just jump in the voice channel and sort of like use who anyone's that's there. There's no super plans to that. I will start to organise some events and things like that as well. There's the BoredGamer org, which I'll accept everyone in a big round every week, which we'll also use to organise that sort of stuff. But it's a social org. It's just going to be for recording and chatting and that sort of stuff. I think we'll get a proper date at CitizenCon this year for a release for Squadron 42 Episode 1. The current plan for Squadron 42 Episode 1 is to have a feature-full beta by the end of Q2 2020. That's on the roadmap, though that could definitely get pushed back. There's almost certainly will get pushed back by at least a quarter or whatever, but I do think we would see a release date at CitizenCon. They need to start their marketing campaign. Yeah, so Star Citizen massively benefits from people submitting and adding to bug reports at the moment, giving feedback on stuff. As long as it's constructive, as long as it's useful. What's my favourite ship? It sort of like fluctuates. I love the Carrack at the moment. I'm looking forward to the Banner Merchantman and the Orion and the 890 Jump and any of the industrial or / economy ships. Fighter-wise at the moment, the Arrow's pretty fucking slick. I do have a lot of love for the Sabre. What's Chris Roberts' citizen ID? I don't know. He does have one. He probably has lots, but... What is your favourite type of drink? I love cider. I also like a good sort of like spiced rum and coke. Like an Old J. I love Old J. I'm okay with whiskey. Like a good beer like a Bipolar or Asahi. Yeah. Dude, like my cider though. I'm bored too, BG. Just not as shiny as you. You'll get there. Sour. Sour. Stop and take my money. I fucking will. I will take your money and I'll rub it on my face. Why you buy cheap inferior AMD CPU and not glorious Intel? So, for my needs, the 3950X is going to have 32 threads, and that is superior for me. It's going to be better. Looks like it's going to be better single core than the 9900K. Anyway, it's going to be 750 quid at least, but so it's going to be expensive. But it's got 32 threads, which is what I need for compiling videos. Recording while in game, streaming, all that sort of stuff. It really, really helps me for my needs. I've got an 8700K at the moment. I am not restricted by whatever brand I buy. Like I'm not a fanboy for AMD or Intel. I don't care. I'm a fanboy for Gigabyte. I love Gigabyte stuff. The 9900K performs slightly higher than the new Ryzen 3900X. Yes, it does. But it doesn't, I believe, perform higher than the better than the 3950X, which is out in September. Why is board so dark, Dave? There's a storm outside. It's really dark around me. I've got the light on and everything. I just haven't set up all the lights properly, I don't think. Light on there, it's not on. My eyes hurt. I'm really neutral with most brand and that sort of stuff. Nvidia, AMD, Intel, AMD, maybe Intel graphics cards soon. I'll use whatever's sensible. Yeah, so CIG are looking to be pretty hardware neutral as well, which is great. Vulkan's going to be awesome, and there isn't going to be any sort of like proprietary bullshit, which means it works a billion times better on Intel and on Nvidia graphics cards. That's the hope anyway. And they have said that Star Citizen should scale up to any amount of CPU cores / threads that you have. Yes, I have tried that scotch, Dapper Dave. My mate ran a couple of pubs and has a very good Scotch whiskey and rum range. Yeah, I've got a faded face. Very fuzzy. I'm a hologram. Hollow board. Will we use 3 seashells in Star Citizen? I believe they have props for them. I don't think you'll be using them, but they have them for props and for flair, potentially for flair. Yeah, see, mood lighting for the 890 jump, for the jacuzzi. Come to the jacuzzi with my face. Bloody Hairworks. Oh my fucking god. Forcing Hairworks into games, mate. Make them run worse on different software, on different hardware. Someone said in a YouTube video the economy will drop in game when there are rental ships. What do you think? Well, it needs to be balanced. There's going to be ship rentals in game. That's going to affect potentially ship sales to some degree. both in-game and out of game, and that will affect the economy because people will be able to leverage the ability of using ship rentals to mine, to do cargo hauling, to do mission runs and stuff like that. So there needs to be balance there. How are they going to do it? I don't know. But they will iterate on that and work out a way of doing that so it's sensible. How long have you played this game in all? A long time. Thousands of hours? Probably like 4,000 plus hours. Twice the amount I've done Dota 2. What do you think the chances of CIG adding mag boots to your equipment so it's easier to board? So, Mr. Jaeger, they are going to have mag boots in-game. They actually had them originally, but the new mag boots are EVA packs are going to allow you to boost downwards to simulate gravity. That's the new way they're going to do mag boots. I believe dreads are some of the hair that they are doing in-game. You'll see it first on Pacheco, the mission giver at Heart Corp. Oh, Jadis, thank you very much for the resubscribe. Very much appreciated. And thank you for all the donations and the silly things. Lots of people donating, lots of people subscribing, lots of people becoming YouTube members. Thank you very much. I fucking love your faces. Oh, you're legendary. Any idea when the Endeavour might come? I think it's going to be one of the last ships they do. Like, it's a massive science ship with loads of different specific science components and modules and things. I think it's a ship that's going to be a while out. Unless they need it for Squadron 42 or something, which I don't think they do. Is there a Vulcan version of Hairworks? I don't think so. How is shipboarding now, by the way? Not great. We need ways of properly being able to breach and open doors. So like C4. I think you can still sort of like blow open doors, kind of. But we need reasons to sort of like disable ships, places to sell them, things like that as well. We just don't really have that yet. Physicalized components so we can disable ships better. And interdiction. Ways of trapping ships briefly. That's going to be amazing. We have stealth now. We just need more reasons to use stealth and a bit more of sort of like refined stealth mechanics. Better ways of scanning, better ways of detection, better ways of tracking. How is science gameplay going to work? Science gameplay is massive and covers lots of different things, from tweaking components and weapons to make them slightly better, so overclocking them permanently effectively, to crunching data, to making sort of like manufacturing chemicals and compounds. It crosses over into exploration and sort of like detecting anomalies and getting information on that. Because like there's labs and stuff like that you can use, and on the Endeavour, farming is part of those mechanics as well, getting seeds and things like that. There's a huge range of science mechanics, and that connects to exploration and data running and compiling data and manufacture and huge amount of stuff. So how does science gameplay work? We don't really know yet how it's going to work with all those different components. They're all basically individual gameplay loops. There's no true cloaking tech in the game. It's stealth in-game is specifically you managing your signatures and using the environment to your advantage. But you can effectively remain invisible by doing that. You're not just invisibility cloak, though. It's no cloaking technology. It's you are hard to detect because you are a ship in the vastness of space that might not be producing enough of a signal for another ship to detect you. My biggest fear is that another company will just remake Star Citizen Persistent Universe with less clutter, texture, code nearer to release. Even if they do, they won't have the fidelity that Chris is demanding. Yeah, if someone makes a great game, then I'll play another great game. I've got room in my life for multiple great games. No one's going to remake Star Citizen and then just make it exactly the same and then release it just before Star Citizen does. That's not going to happen. I'm assuming if anyone tries to make a similar game, they'll go for different angles and different things, and then you can play both. In your opinion, with the combining of CitizenCon and the anniversary sale, how do you think this will affect CIG's bottom line this year? I don't know. I think it's a bit of a risk for them. It might be amazing. It might make them a fuck ton of money. The only reason I'm thinking they're combining both of them is because they have to start like a marketing campaign for Squadron 42 at the same time, and Star Citizen, and sort of like trying to make it more mainstream. So doing it all at the same time for that reason sort of makes sense to me anyway, because you don't want to keep on marketing this sort of stuff and the way that Star Citizen's been marketing to mainstream. That would look too money grabby. That would look too sort of like trying to milk your community. I'm doing it to the more core backers that have got it this far, and the whales and stuff like that. That sort of makes sense the way they've previously done things. But if they're doing it to more mainstream, you want to have one big sale a year rather than lots and lots of sales or anything like that. So combining them all to one could be a sensible option if they're having a Squadron 42 release date, if they're starting to push Squadron 42, if they're starting to push Star Citizen to mainstream. So it could be amazing for them. It could also, well, it's going to be better than if they did just one event. If they just had just CitizenCon or just the anniversary sale, combining the two is going to be better than just having one. Is it going to be better than having both those events separate? Don't know. It could. It could be a fantastic idea. When is Star Citizen Live coming on? In 45 minutes. What I'm going to do in a second is grab some food and then probably watch it live. I would have done a watch party because I thought it was going to be 15 minutes ago. I was going to do a watch party with it, but I'm a bit too hungry and a bit too erratic to be able to watch that. And it's Jay Lee. I don't want to interrupt Jay Lee. Does anyone know when it will be possible to launch ships from within ships, like a fighter attached to the Connie? So we need at least the ship-to-ship docking there first, and potentially some other stuff, but earliest you'll see it is in 3.8. Earliest you'll see that is the end of this year, if we're lucky. On your giveaways, do we have to write anything specifically in the comments, or just you pull names from the hat? Yeah, so effectively it can be anything. I would consider removing it if it's incredibly rude or offensive or something like that in some way. It basically doesn't comply with the guidelines for YouTube comments in general. But the idea is that I have an Excel spreadsheet. Well, I randomly choose a video by number generator, effectively. It goes, bam, this video. And then all of the names are exported from that video and then compressed down. So if you put 1,000 comments in one video, you just have one entry for that video still. And then it randomly draws a name. Bam, done. Easiest way I've found to do it. I think Nubify showed me when he first started, that was the way he sort of started doing it, and then my mate DC made me a system that does it mostly automatically. Any word on when we'll be able to do bounty hunter missions and keep the bounties alive? No, no word on that yet. Obviously we need less than lethal weapons, we need the cells and places to be able to keep them. Need improvements to AI and NPCs. No Man's Sky is releasing a big update. It's impressive how much they're adding for such a small team. Yeah, so I'm glad, like, I did a comment a year or two ago that was used by Rooster Teeth or whatever the fuck they were showing at the time, which basically said, I love the fact that No Man's Sky are improving their game. They did lie at release, which is sort of like upset me. But they are genuinely keeping their heads down and trying to improve the game and bring it to a state where they sort of like said it would be. So yes, No Man's Sky is looking better and better. They're improving that game significantly, and that's what a studio should do. And it is impressive what they were doing. It was very impressive technically what they did anyway. It just wasn't what they said it was going to be, and they lied about it, and it wouldn't have been a problem if they hadn't lied about it. And they said, yeah, we're going to keep on improving it, but at least they have improved it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it again. someone made a cell-shaded Star Citizen, that would be great. I actually agree. I do love the fidelity and everything, and it's cool. But I'd also happily play a cell-shaded version with the same mechanics and the economy and stuff that they've got planned. Yeah, yeah. Do you think CIG will add the ability for players to do pin-up artwork for the side of their ships in game? I think that's going to be some of the aftermarket sort of World War II-esque woman dragon and stuff for teeth on the side of a ship. I think that will be aftermarket support. Yeah. Do you think they're done with the Vanguard? Will they add and fix the load out in the future? I think there's going to be different loadouts for the Vanguard in the future, and there's going to be different nose guns you can buy, but there's going to be a very specific amount of nose guns. If I become a subscriber, do I also get past subscriber items and flair? You have access to them, so you can buy them, but you don't get them. Speaking of marketing, do you think they'll make an appearance at E3? They might appear in sort of like one of the little side shows. They could potentially start a marketing campaign with that as well. Maybe Squadron 42 trailer. Possible. They sort of like stay off of E3 because it's really fucking expensive. I love Jay Lee. Oh, Jay Lee's my favourite. Why are you so scared of Australia? Haven't you heard what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? That is a lie. What about cancer? What about guns? What about explosions? What about aging? Anything particularly different with the new Bounty Hunter armor other than cosmetics? As far as I'm aware, it's just cosmetics. I think that armor in the future will have, might have different attachment points. It might have different sort of like stats for environmental sort of like effects and things like that. Why is there such a big delay? That I mean, typically I'm several minutes behind. This is a very good delay for me. Can we still see jetpacks like in No Man's Sky? So, just me, we've got EVA packs, which will act like jetpacks in space. On planets, there is going to be ways of surviving ejecting in atmosphere, whether that's a jetpack or a parachute or some sort of chair that protects you, or very, very sturdy feet. We don't know, but there's going to be some way. I don't think we're going to see proper jetpacks in the game, though. I wouldn't agree that hover mode's improved tremendously, personally, but I would say that now I'm using like right alt to toggle on, not pitching up and down, is and being generally getting better with it has made it a lot better for me. So what is hover mode? So hover mode is when you are slow. When you are below a certain speed in the atmosphere of a planet or moon, you'll go into hover mode, which basically means to keep your ship aloft, most of the thrusters have to be pointed down at that speed, because you're not gliding, you're not using the rear engines, you're literally hovering. And the idea is to make your ship feel heavier and for it to be more dangerous and to be more realistic. That also has the side effect of if you pitch forward or backwards, you fly like a helicopter, you sort of move forward and move back. But that's just not very good for precise landing and flying, especially when you're a spaceship and you should just be able to strafe everywhere. But if you just press right alt, then you do just strafe everywhere without accidentally pitching forward or up, so you don't fly backwards and forwards when you're trying to do a precision landing. You accidentally panic or whatever, and you just flip your ship and explode. Much better now. Have CIG and RSI recommended any HOTAS? No, they have not, or HOSAS. I don't believe. I can recommend the Verpil Constellation Delta. If you can afford it, fucking the best HOTAS that I've ever used. With wildlife on certain planets being of a large variety, do you think they'll do a monster hunter-like mission for players? I think there might be big game hunting, and I think there might be science related to animals, and there's probably going to be animal capture and like animals as pets and things, so maybe. If you had to guess, when do you think Star Citizen would fully come out? I don't know. They're going to keep on supporting it for many years. I think we could see a live launch of Star Citizen end of 2023, a live Star Citizen launch. If that's optimistic. And I largely say that because I don't have to back it up for many years. If I send you some Vegemite, would you try some on toast on stream? Yes, Manacle Mind, I will do that. There was a sealed container of Vegemite. BoredGamer, I wonder how CIG is going to be affected by Brexit. It'll affect them in some way. It might not be huge or anything, though. It would be some stuff financially and the way that they move between their studios, especially between Frankfurt and the UK. So maybe they'll move around the studios less. Maybe, I mean, eventually they might get better tax benefits and do better out of Brexit, but we'll see. If there's anything that's notable, I will inform people if I find out anything anyway. How's the 2080 Ti working out for you? Yeah, it's great. I think it gets to like 73 degrees when playing Star Citizen in 4K. It's fucking great. And I can get some goodish 60 frames per second 4K footage with some concessions. However, it's better at 1440p for 60 FPS because I can get a much higher quality of actual stuff. You know what I mean. You fucking know what I mean. But it's great. I'll hit you up on Discord for the address. Yes, I do have a PO box as well that can be sent to you. You want Dapper Dave? Do you want... Right. Is there any more questions? Any more questions? Because if not, I'm going to go have din-dins, mate. You know, fuck you all. Got Jay Lee in half an hour on twitch.tv/Star Citizen. And we'll see if there's anyone else streaming them in the short term, though. Just lately, I've been playing some Vermintide again, which has been very enjoyable. I haven't played Planetfall yet, which I'm very much looking forward to. I've got a copy of it. Been playing a load of Teamfight Tactics, the League of Legends thing. I'm actually pretty good at that. I'm in Platinum now. Very, very enjoyable. But pretty chill. Let's go and give someone some love. Can you bring us back some din-dins? No. Nope. Last question. Have you played the board game Gloomhaven? Recommend you try it. I haven't played it. It is on high on my list. I really liked Monster Kingdom Death. I used to play sort of like Warhammer Quest. I love board games. I fucking love board games and play loads still. So Gloomhaven. My mates run a event called StabCon South, which I go to regularly. So I'll play it there at some point. I suspect there's also StabCon up north, which I'm planning to go to semi-regularly. What expectations do you have for the main presentation at CitizenCon? Any major tech? Yeah, server-side object container streaming might be shown off. I'm expecting to see jump points. I'm expecting to see potentially new star systems. Obviously some concept stuff and vehicles. Squadron 42 trailer or vertical slice. Squadron 42 release date for episode 1 probably. Some near future gameplay with 3.8 and 3.9. So, Orison, Crusader, Microtech, new Babbage, new mission stuff, new mission tech, the Carrack, some new ships and stuff like that. Potentially some capital ship fights and stuff to show that it works. Are you looking forward to 7 Days to Die Alpha 18? I believe I am in the early tester group for that, and I'm allowed to stream it. So yes, I am. I need to talk to Cameron about that, because Cameron is the guy that got me into that, and he will be playing with me and teaching me how to play while we play. Do we need more battle bridges on bigger ships? No, I think most ships that are combat ships, their normal bridge is a battle bridge. I think on the 890 jump, it's sort of like kind of makes a bit more sense, maybe, because it's a luxury ship, and if it does get attacked, and you can retreat into the battle bridge. Aren't you doing a watch party board pre-piece? No, I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna eat. It's too late. Too late. I'd be on for like 3 hours plus, and then my brain would implode. And it might be really fucking boring, although it's Jaylee and I do love him. It's going to be a very interactive sort of stream with them. I think that's going to be designing some concept stuff while people watch. So, is the roadmap still on schedule? I mean, it needs to be. They need to rejig a lot of it and reschedule all of it. So, no, they need to, there's stuff they need to do on that. It might, some of it might be, some of it might not be. I'm expecting a big sort of like refactor of it. Right, we're going to give Captain Zap some love. I love you guys very much. You are literally the best. Do appreciate all the donations, all the love, all the subscriptions, all the people becoming members on the YouTubes. Let's bring this up before I go and host Captain Zips. Mr. Jager, thank you very much. Steha, thank you very much. Benny Rizzo, Early 189, Jadis, SC Kalgang, Zaram Dalamars, Bob Core, Robert Johnston, Elfwin. You're all amazing people. Hedid, Elford. Probably other people as well. I love you all very much. Thank you very much for all the donations, all the monies, all the follows, all the help. Very much appreciated. I'm glad I'm feeling a lot better today, so thank you very much for all the love and support as well with that. I'm going to go host Captain Zaps. In half an hour, there is the twitch.tv/Star Citizen live stream, which will be worth watching. I will be there as well, in some form, probably chatting on the chat bar and getting involved, so you should watch that. I love you guys. Take care. Let me slash Radaru Captain Zappo. Probably potentially get a gameplay stream for Star Citizen for 3.6.1 because it is very playable up on the weekend, if not on Monday. So, love. Thanks for watching, guys. You take care. Shiny headset.